Can I laugh? Please tell me I can laugh already. I'm sure it's time to laugh. I mean, how many times do we have to be right before people just accept the obvious? I've been banging this drum louder than a Dalek chanting "exterminate," but every time I say Doctor Who is on life support, some wide-eyed Twitter refugee crawls into my mentions to tell me, no, it's doing better than ever. Right. And I suppose the Empress of the Rachnos is headlining Glastonbury next year too. It's genuinely funny, tragic but funny, how some people will cling to the idea of this show's success like it's the last lifeboat on the Titanic, even as the water's already over their heads and the band's halfway through Abide With Me. Welcome to the snake pit where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Daemon, and today we're looking at the unfortunate carcass of a once great show that may have just been exterminated. According to Doctor Who TV, the situation has gone from bad to I told you so faster than a Cyberman tripping and falling through the stairs. Just last week, the Mirror, yes, that bastion of trustworthy journalism, reported that Doctor Who would take a planned hiatus until 2027. But not to worry, there are 2 seasons on the way. Nothing to see here. Fast forward 6 days and the Sun swoops in with a story that reads more like a eulogy. Apparently Ncuti Gatwa has been axed, there's no new Doctor on the horizon, and the BBC is now considering putting the TARDIS in permanent storage. All this because of Eurovision. Yes, really. Gatwa pulled out of presenting the UK's jury scores at Eurovision, which reportedly left BBC bosses incredibly disappointed. One insider claimed that was the final nail in the coffin for his time in the TARDIS. No regeneration planned, no successor ready, and, if you believe the article, no future either. The phrase "shelved indefinitely" has now entered the chat, and I don't care how many blue boxes you've got, that's not a good sign. Even the regeneration might be skipped, just to keep their options open. Because of course in this timeline, we can't even be granted a proper farewell scene. Just awkward cutaways, rewritten narratives, and endless speculation. This isn't how a flagship series with 60 years of legacy should be treated, but hey, it's all fine, right? Nothing to panic about. Ignore the plummeting ratings. Ignore the inconsistent writing. Ignore the fact that the BBC itself is dodging the subject harder than Davros dodging stairs. Let's also talk about the Mirror briefly backing the story and then removing it from their site like they just remembered they're meant to pretend everything's fine. That's journalism in 2025. Report, retract, and hope no one screenshots. But what we're left with is a show in limbo, a leading actor potentially gone, a network that won't confirm anything, and a fandom being force-fed hope like it's psychic paper. And now the uncomfortable truth, this has happened before. Back in 1989, during the 7th Doctor's final run, the BBC rested the show. Fans were told it would return. Spoiler, it didn't. Not properly, anyway. We got the 1996 movie, a halfway reboot made for American audiences that was about as well received as the Daleks at a peace summit, and then silence. Dead air for 9 long years until 2005. And yes, while some hold up the movie like a lost gem, others see it as canon-adjacent fan service. So let's call it what it was, a failed revival attempt. Now here we are again, only the ratings are worse than they were in '89, the damage is deeper, the audience has shrunk to the diehards and the deluded, and this time there's no Sylvester McCoy to charm his way through the chaos. No virgin new adventures novels to keep the mythology alive, just clickbait, DI nonsense, and a creative team too proud to admit they've derailed the franchise. So maybe it is time to shelve the show, not for a couple of years, no, not some fake hiatus with 700 spin-offs and a musical, but for a decade. Let it rest. Let someone with a passion for storytelling and a love of the lore pick it back up, without the pressure of checking diversity boxes or pleasing execs who've never watched a full Hartnell serial in their lives. The show doesn't just need a regeneration, it needs an exorcism. I say this as someone who survived the wilderness years. I was there, I bought the audios, I read the novels, and when the show came back in 2005, I was right there, cheering. It was better. It was stronger, it mattered again. Yes, I think it peaked with Eccleston. Gritty, wounded, real, and I'll begrudgingly admit the Daft Jamie years with Smith and Capaldi had their moments. But we're way past that now. We're somewhere between parody and pathology. So, BBC, if you're listening, pull the plug. Let the show regenerate properly by disappearing. Leave the TARDIS alone until you've earned the right to fly it again. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell like the video. And leave your opinions in the comments, where naturally I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.